years old. I was born and raised in Nova Scotia, and I moved out east. Niggas wanna come against me, I'ma turn into a beast. I can't be stopped, it comes to my mindset. These niggas are fake, and I wanna shake your handset. I'll be the best, and I'll beat the best, and I'll beat on my chest. While you niggas sell yourself for less, y'all a damn shame. The yellow bone bitches, I get back shots too. The pain is soaking wet with inches in their guts. Ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. My pathway forward is in God I trust, my niggas. The measures that I take are justified, no cap. You fake niggas better strap up, I'm bulletproof. I'm a ride or die nigga to the day I All right, we are back, man. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's have a conversation. It is the 18th of August, 2024. So here's another viral story about how liberal women vote Democrat and they vote for the demise. They vote to be assaulted by homeless men. They vote not based off of intelligence, but based off of feelings. So let's have a conversation about this. And then I got audio from Marvin. We got to play. But let's have this conversation here. So we're going to put myself here in the corner. And I have this lady's YouTube. So 1010 wins reporter attacked on NYC street in random assault. This is the new norm. Been talking about this for years. A manic seized a 1010 wins journalist by the hair and body slammed her to the ground in a random senseless act outside her Manhattan office, according to cops and the victim. Kelly Dillon, 40, a veteran New York City news and traffic reporter, who was also with WCBS 880, detailed the sudden attack in a Saturday TikTok video describing how she was assaulted on the streets of New York randomly by a simp just after midnight on Wednesday. There are many crimes being committed. Random acts, random attacks on females on the streets. And again, I've said, the incel revolution has begun. It's not going away, and it's not getting any better, and it's getting much, much worse. And the media and the police are definitely downplaying this. It's a huge problem. You have to realize, the poop jeets, and people that come from different countries, to like different countries in America or Canada, in their countries, women don't have rights. They don't have rights. So when they see you walking around, they're asking why. And so they want to cause trouble. Dillon's ordeal began when she left her Hudson Street office building and started heading home to New Jersey after finishing her last report of the night. The area is quite docile at night. It's a quiet neighborhood. She said in the video, I'm always on guard walking through the city as a young female alone. Strong and independent. You say you don't need a man. You don't need a man for provision and protection. That's what they said. She said she had just crossed the street when she heard someone race up behind her near the intersection of Hudson and King Streets. I glanced over and I saw what looked like a man in the corner of my eye. It looked like he was jogging. I just thought that somebody was jogging at night. It's really not out of the norm in New York City. She moved over to let the runner pass by, but then she felt someone snatch up a good chunk of my hair and chuck her onto the concrete planter. They grabbed my hair so tightly, they quite literally body slammed me onto the pavement. It happened so quickly, so quickly. She bounced back up, a reaction she attributes to an influx of adrenaline, and watched as the simp, weak-minded male, took off down the street. I was in such shock. I just started screaming for help. And a whole big group of different people heard me and came running to assist me. Several bystanders and other good Samaritans helped her with her wounds, while others took off after the attacker. Just overwhelmed. So I'm just going to play her video. Let's get it here. So I just wanted to show you, like, the real men have stepped away a long time ago. And I would advise you not to put your life on the line for women that sit
in New York City. A couple days ago, I was assaulted on the streets of New York City randomly by a man. And I want to share my story because I want to warn.
Men don't assault women randomly. You mean a weak-minded, corrupt-minded, one-dimensional thinker assaulted you, a simp. And again, these women on dating streaming services, they're radicalizing these guys. They donate for the OnlyFans and they get nothing in return. So now they feel like they're owed something for the debt that they're in.
Females about the dangers in the streets of New York City right now. There are crimes, many crimes being committed, random acts, random attacks on females on the streets, and it's not going away, and it's not getting any better, and it's getting.
Yep, it's called the incel revolution. These guys want something, right? The incel revolution, where they don't care. They don't care that you're strong and independent and you say you don't need a man. They don't care about that.
Much, much worse. And the media and the police are definitely downplaying this. And it is a huge, huge problem. The man who randomly attacked me, little did he know, I am quite tough. I am actually also a.
People that are tough don't need to say that they're tough. People that are tough wouldn't even make a video about how tough they are.
News reporter. I've been a news and traffic reporter in New York City for the past 20 years. And also I'm very intuitively open. So I am going to use my platform for good to help expose this further and hopefully catch these people committing these horrific acts towards.
You're not going to catch them because there's this thing of soft on crime policies. Let me say this again, soft on crime policies, meaning that you voting for them to be released after they assault women, after they assault men, after they steal, after they do all these things, they are going back into the streets. This is what they're doing. Soft on crime policies.
It's women. First, I want to share with you my story of what happened to me. This happened this past week, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, right at midnight. I was actually leaving work. I got off air right around midnight. My last report was 11:51, and I left my building, our office building, in Hudson Square. This incident happened on the corner of Hudson Street and King Street in Lower Manhattan. Literally, I just left the building. The area is quite desolate at night. It's a quiet neighborhood. I'm always on guard. No matter what time of the day I'm walking.
You know, if it's a quiet neighborhood, why do you have to be on guard? Right? Like, I'm not on guard in a quiet neighborhood. I'm just doing my own thing. Like, I don't understand the concept. I'm trying to look for my copy button, but my paste button, I don't know where that is. Strange. Copy. Okay, let's continue on. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. It's really weird. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, it just says copy. Doesn't even say paste. Wow.
Walking through New York City, I've been aware of the reports of many females talking about being randomly sucker punched or attacked by men in.
Yeah, because they voted for it. You know, 72% of women vote Democrat. So I would imagine they're voting for their demise. They're voting for policies that don't really benefit them. Why would you vote for soft on crime policy? Why would you vote for defunding the police? Why would you vote for transgenderism? And then complain about the results that you don't get.
Broad daylight even. So I was aware of this level of violence occurring in the city, and it's getting worse and worse. So I've always been on guard walking through the city as a young female alone. And I just stepped out of work and I crossed the street. Now what happened, I was walking, being cautious. I had my bag on my shoulder. I had my cell phone in my hand. I always carry it in my hand just in case. And I hear somebody running behind me. So I glance over and I look and I see what looked like a man in the corner of my eye it looked like he was jogging. Now, a lot of people jog in this area of Lower Manhattan. It's right on the West Side Highway, a popular running spot. So I just really thought that somebody was jogging at midnight. It's really not out of the norm in New York City. And I dismissed it and I kind of moved over to allow them to pass me because I thought they were just running on by. Next thing you know, I feel somebody grab a good chunk of my hair, and then they grabbed my hair so tightly and quite literally body slammed me onto the pavement. It happened.
You know, these guys donate, you know, wanting something from OnlyFans digital hookers, and they're getting nothing for it. And so now they've become radicalized, and now they have a disdain for women.
So quickly.
Sick.
I then quickly got up. I don't know how I got up so quickly. My adrenaline was rushing, that's for certain. I got back up and I see the culprit running back towards the way that he came from. And I was in such shock. I was heading back home to New Jersey after work. And obviously, after something traumatic like that happens, you're not thinking straight. And the first thought in my head was, oh my God, I have to get back home. I have to get home. I need to get home to New Jersey.
Jeez.
And then I quickly snapped out of it and I said, Kelly, what are you doing? You can't leave. You need to call the police. And then I just start screaming. Mind you, this all happened in a matter of seconds. I just start screaming for help. And I have a loud scream. So I was shocked.
Right? Like, this is the single women yelling for bystanders, men, to go put their life on the line to go and help this woman. That I don't understand. Like, I'm not putting my life on the line to confront other men for women that say they don't need me. I'm not doing it.
Shocked that a whole big group of different people heard me and came running to assist me. There were these 3 young boys, and I wish I got their contact information. They were young, probably in their 20s, maybe 3 or 4 of them. They said they heard me screaming while driving and they pulled over to see what happened. And the one boy goes to me, oh my God, ma'am, you're bleeding. And my whole elbow is, gushing blood. And I said, oh my God, the adrenaline was pumping in. So I did not realize I was even injured in the moment. And then he said to me, what happened? I said, I don't know. Some random man came up and attacked me, quite literally. These 3 or 4 young boys, and again, I forget how many, it's still a bit of a blur, some of the memories, they just went running after him. They said, we're going to get him. And they ran after him. I'm just so incredibly grateful. Unfortunately, he was not captured by them or the police, but I am just so grateful that these 3 young men came to my aid. And I if you guys happen to be watching this video and you find this video, please contact me. I want to properly thank you, gentlemen, because they were just the sweetest young men, and I'm so grateful. This happened.
Yeah, you better start being grateful, because at the end of the day, nobody owes men anything. Nobody owes women anything.
Right outside a restaurant that was closing up, and there was a bartender in there and his friend, and they came running out as well, and they ushered me very quickly into the bar that was closed at that point, and they bandaged me up. They took care of my wounds. I was bleeding pretty badly from my elbow at that point. I was all banged up in my knees, and they just sat me down. I called 911 immediately, of course, on the phone with them, and they were fantastic. I will say this 911 operator was so nice, and the bartender and his friend were so kind, incredibly kind. I'm so grateful for them as well. I luckily received their contact information. They stayed with me the whole time, so I want to thank them publicly, and obviously I'm thanking them personally as well. But I was just overwhelmed that there were good people out there who are willing to step in and help, because I know there's
Yes, there are good people out there, myself included, but this good person is not putting his life on the line for women that say they don't need me. Then there's another story that we have. I'm trying to think. There should be another one here somewhere. Yeah, so this is her story, right?
counts where women have been attacked and no one has helped them. So again, I feel just so lucky and grateful that there was help around and people were willing to step into a very scary situation and come to someone's aid. So I cannot thank these beautiful souls enough. There are good souls out there. I've experienced it personally through this experience. The cops and the paramedics came. The paramedics looked at my elbow and they said, yeah, this is pretty deep. We can see your bone. I said, you've got to be kidding me. So they said, you got to go to the hospital. So I was like, okay, can I just go to a hospital in Jersey? I just want to go home. Then I started getting obviously very dizzy and nauseous. And they said, okay, you probably have a concussion as well. So you should probably take an ambulance to the hospital. And I said, okay, we'll do that. Play it safe. And the cops, of course, interviewed me. Now, mind you, I was leaving my reporting job at 1010 Winds, which is right across the street. So I gave them all the details. You can't make it up. I'm at work reporting, and then I become quite literally the news. I'm telling the police everything that happened, giving them the best description I can. Again, this man was wearing, it looked like some sort of face covering. I believe he had a hat on. He was tiny, thin, but clearly in shape, a very fast runner, just from my recollection. Again, I did not get a good look at him. It happened so quickly, and he ran off so fast. He ran off, of course, like a coward, because trust me, if he would have stayed, I would have definitely defended myself.
Listen, man, this is what they are. They're cowards. I've been saying this for years. Weak men create hard times. Good men create good times. These weak-minded, corrupt-minded, one-dimensional dudes have been radicalized through the airway from dating streaming services. So you ladies better start being careful, right? There's a couple stories we got to get to. So I'm going to come back to this, but I got to find it. So this was a Taco Bell situation. Hold on. I was going to show you the twisted mindset. Taco Bell. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking if I should stream this one out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yo, it's wild, man. Okay, let me show you what happened at Taco Bell in, I think it was, Ohio. So this is another story here. So recent Ohio grad shot dead in Taco Bell drive-thru by stranger in a murder-suicide, okay? So an Ohio woman in line at a Taco Bell drive-thru with her dog was fatally shot before the gunman turned the gun on himself in a shocking murder-suicide Wednesday night. Here's another one Wednesday night. Megan Kellerman sat in the driver's seat as she ordered food at the fast food chain when Jason Williams, 53, rammed the rear of her car just before 7:20 p.m. in Stowe, Ohio. 25-year-old who graduated from Cleveland State University in May told a Taco Bell employee on the other end of the speaker to call 911. Williams had exited his car and shot Kellerman before deleting himself. Witnesses told detectives that the gunman began blowing his horn at Kellerman after she pulled in front of him entering the drive-thru line. This man deleted this young woman's life because she allegedly cut in front of him at a Taco Bell drive-thru line. Oh, it's sick, right? Both Kellerman and Williams were pronounced deceased at the scene. The Summit County medical examiner identified both and noted Kellerman with a homicide victim and died from gunshot wounds to her neck. Williams' death was ruled as a suicide from a gunshot to the head. So he deletes this woman, then deletes himself. We have no information to indicate the two subjects knew each other. They didn't even know each other. So again, these are the pieces of garbage that exist in the world. He's in the drive-thru line. This woman allegedly cuts in front of him. He pulls up the blicky and fires at her, then fires at himself. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Right? He says, as a police chief, the community leader, I would like to say this is a true tragedy. I agree with that. I'm going to stay on the line. I'm coming right up there. Oh, it's sad. So my condolences goes out to this lady's family. So you guys know that there's corrupt-minded people out here.
At Chewy, keep their bowls full with fast and free delivery.
Shocking details coming out of Stowe tonight where that tragic murder-suicide happened outside of a Taco Bell just 24 hours ago. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10 o'clock. I'm Chris Fry. What detectives know so far is difficult to comprehend, as investigators say the shooter rammed the victim's car.
Yeah, it is difficult to comprehend. I've seen this yesterday. I was like, no, this can't be real, man. So anyway, let's play this so you guys can see.
In the drive-thru, shooting her moments later, then turning the gun on himself. Michelle Nix live tonight
Cowards,
in Stowe with the latest developments. Michelle.
Chris, why? That's the heartbreaking and puzzling question on nearly everyone's mind after Stowe police released new details in the murder-suicide that happened here at the Taco Bell in the drive-thru lane last night.
So again, man, weak men create hard times. I think we're going to stream that one up. But let me finish this one up and then we'll go over. So this is the woman in New York.
Confronted him. The assailant was cowardly, and of course, after doing that,
That's how they live their
ran
life.
away. Now, luckily, there
Every
happens to be a camera right outside the building where this happened, so I'm very hopeful that at least it got caught on camera. Now, what's really important here is the police and the young boys who ran after him actually ran back to make sure I was okay and being taken care of, and they wanted to tell me that there was another girl right around the corner who got attacked as well at the same exact time. She said there were two men and she said she was slapped. I believe her and I must have called 911 at the same time because the cops were over there as well. And a lot of police came. They were very kind, very serious, seemed very unfazed by it. And I'm not shocked because this kind of crime is the new norm in New York City. So again, they were quite unfazed by the situation.
It's the new norm. It's the new norm everywhere. This is why so many people are upset.
It just seemed like another day, another attack. That was the energy I was feeling just behind the energy of the police and also the paramedics. So remember, at this point, my adrenaline is like really rushing. I'm not really feeling the pain. But then as, you know, the minutes go by, as I'm talking to the police, then I'm really starting to feel the pain in my elbow and just everywhere. And so at that point, the police finished interviewing me. Also, I want to add for the female around the corner from where it happened to me, if you happen to find this, if you feel guided, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you and hear your story, and maybe we can help the police together nab these two guys. And again, for all I know, there could be more than two of them. And for all I know, there could have been more attacks. I'm only aware of one other attack happening at the same exact time as it happened to me. But who knows? They got away. The police did not catch them to my knowledge yet. So they could have done this to other women in the area in the past couple days. I really wanted to record this and share my story much sooner, but unfortunately, I've been recovering. I've been in excruciating pain from my injuries. So I ended up going to Lenox Hill in the West Village. That's where the ambulance took me, and they were so wonderful. One of the paramedics who rode with me in the back, he was so incredibly kind, and he actually told me that they are seeing such an increase in random attacks, especially on women. In general, since 2020, he said the level of crime and violence in the city obviously has gone up, which I think we're all aware of. If you're native to New York City, I'm sure you're well aware crime is.
So stop voting for them. It's like stop voting Democrat and thinking that you're going to get something out of it. It's all lies. It's all lies. Stop voting Democrat, man. But yeah, crime is up. Hold on.
Is up, but he said in particular the past year, and he told me a story how a colleague of his, a fellow paramedic, was stabbed on the scene while she was helping to save somebody. A random assault happened on her. He said he has seen such an increase in the level of violence against paramedics and police officers. And that is just not okay. They are here to help us and help save us, and these assailants are even going after them. I think that speaks volumes. So I get to Lenox Hill. The ER was great. I was there for a long time, but obviously that's any hospital. He did x-rays, checked me out. Have a concussion. I had a gaping hole right in my elbow. So what I believe happened, and again, it happened so quickly, it's really a blur. But on the streets near Hudson Square, they have trees, these tiny little trees in the sidewalk, and they have this metal, tiny little fencing down low on the ground to go around the trees. And I believe he must have grabbed me and body slammed me, and I believe my elbow must have went into that metal fence. Again, I don't even remember hitting anything. I just remember hitting the pavement, and that's about it. So clearly my elbow went into that fence at some point during that fall, and thank God it was my elbow and not my head. I'm so lucky and so grateful. It could have been so much worse. So unfortunately, I have a deep wound in my elbow from that down to the bone. So they had to clean that out, give me a bunch of stitches, and I can't move my arm at this point. It's still healing. So that's quite painful. And just obviously the whole body is in a tremendous level of pain from the body slam and hitting the pavement and just the trauma of the whole situation. So physically, I'm still recovering, but I'm going to be okay. I am okay. I'm quite tough. I'm quite strong. And the second this happened to me, I went into reporter mode. I started interviewing the police. I started interviewing the paramedics. I'm interviewing the doctor sewing up my elbow in the ER. And I was asking him, I said, have you seen an uptick in women coming to the ER with injuries from random acts of violence or attacks in the streets?
Yep. And it's going to keep ramping up because I told you before, and I'm going to say it again. These guys, right? What they're doing on dating apps are radicalizing weak-minded men. And so now when they go out and they get out there, they want something for being such cocks and simps. They want dollars. So, they want to go out there and victimize women. It's really sick. This is why I don't respect them. Once again, I told you that. That's why I do my streams, to show you how corrupt-minded that they are, why they act the way they do, why they say the things they say, why they sit on dating apps all day, every day, and not get one result, right? So we all are going to have to suffer because of these mindseted, pieces of garbage. It's really sick. It's really sick. So I don't respect them. Never will. Never, ever, ever will. So we're going to talk about the Megan Kellerman story. Please switch over. I'm just setting it up right now. And we'll continue on. But I'm glad this woman's okay. Let this be a telltale for you ladies out there. Better start being careful where you're going and who you're hanging.